Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. And to those of you that have been waiting just a couple minutes, thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate it. So, today, I thought we would talk about, well, let me tell you what this is inspired by first. So, TikTok. TikTok is a thing, and there's all these filters that you can put on, and they've come a long way since the Snapchat dog filter. They've come a really long way, and like the little flower crown we all used to use, they're really realistic. And the I feel like, they're fun to play with. They really are. I play with them all the time. I think I posted 4 TikTok yesterday. I haven't posted on TikTok in, like, months, but yesterday, as I'm trying to do the show, and, like, I was like, "You know what? I'm taking the dogs out. I'm gonna play with a Snapchat filter while I take the dogs out." And I posted, like, 4 times. But and it was really fun. The TikTok filters are super fun, but I do feel like they perpetuate this whole thing, this whole stigma against aging, and I feel like women experience it the most, and people that are seen as women experience it the most because we're expected to be forever young, like that song. I like forever. And we aren't valued for our knowledge and our expertise that we get and the way that men do. And I'm just going to speak in the binary for this video just for ease of use. Just know, that's there is definitely more than the binary, but it's hard to clarify that every single time talking about it. But understand that I recognize that. So I feel like men are given kind of this pass of like aging, and there just isn't quite as much pressure. I do feel like there's more pressure now on men than there used to be, but I feel like women specifically, there's just so much pressure to look as young as possible for as long as possible. And I wanted to talk about today how the beauty industry and myself and other beauty influencers and maybe us in the comment section, anybody that posts anything on social, how we perpetuate these stereotypes, and how do we and this problem in our society, and how do we get out of it? Like, what are the next steps? And this is definitely not something that I could talk about in What's Up in Makeup, because it's a conversation piece. It's not just about my opinion, it's about the opinion of the community. And these are the ones that I love the most because they're the ones that I get to talk to the community about. And if you're watching this live, hi, welcome. You're going to be part of the conversation. If you're watching this on the replay, you're going to be part of the conversation as well by leaving your thoughts down in the comment section down below. So before we get started, I do want to say hello very quickly to some of the people that are here live and talk to, so you can meet them and know that they're going to be part of the conversation. So good morning to Tracy. Happy Sunday to you. Good morning, Donnelly. So good to see you. Good morning. Donnelly says, was mid What's Up in Makeup saw the oh, the time change. Probably talking about the time change. Yes, it was I got like frizzy hair. It was the time change. That's one of the reasons why I was running late, because I stayed in my bed as long as possible, and that was a mistake. I take full responsibility for staying in my bed for way too long. I was in bed till 9 o'clock our time. It was 8 o'clock, yesterday's time. I stayed in bed too long. That was my fault. My bad. I should have gotten up at 8:45 at least, maybe even 8:30, but my body was just like, "No, no." Oh my gosh, it's early. It feels early. Good morning, Roya. Good morning, Angie. Good morning, Crystal. Happy Sunday. Good morning, Teresa, and the rest of the moderators. Teresa survived another blizzard. If you do not know, Teresa and I were talking yesterday. Teresa's entire state of North Dakota is shut down. There's no way to drive. The entire freaking state. Can you imagine your entire state being shut down? Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So I'm wishing well to everybody in North Dakota, including Teresa and anybody else that's experiencing snow right now and is having difficulty. I hope that you are safe and warm and have lots of the things you need, like bread and milk and toilet paper and all the other things as well. And thank you to the rest of the moderators that are here, Flory and Steph and Audra. If John is not here, John is away for the weekend with the kids at a volleyball tournament per usual. So I'm counting on my friends to help me out today with moderation. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty chill chat though. Good morning, Valerie. Good morning, Eileen. Eileen says, really need this today to help me stay on task to clean and pack for a trip. Well, I wish you very safe travels. I hope that it all goes very well for you. Angie says, hit that like button before we get started. Thank you so much for that, Angie. And Sorojan, happy Sunday on my way back from vacation. Yay. I got a hold of some of your marshmallows in the DC. Oh, you did get them. Yay. You said you were going to try to go buy locally crafted. I'm so glad you were able to get them. Yay. I just restocked the store. So hopefully you got the flavor that you wanted. Michelle, hello. And Adriana, good morning. And Mary, good morning. I don't know why it said live in 12 hours. I was having a morning. Did it say 12 hours? Oh no. Did I have it set for 10 p.m.? Oh well. Hopefully I can functionally participate in this very deep conversation. All right. So thank you all for being here. Let's go ahead and get started. So, this is the thing. Is that when I was in high school and middle school and all of that, the summers were super, super boring. And I was just waiting for summer to be over because I only had my older brother who was 5 years older than me, didn't really spend time with me. My parents were always working. So I spent a lot of time by myself. I did have some neighbor kids in the area, but it just didn't always work out to hang out with them, especially as I got older. We weren't very close, the kids that were in the area. So I spent a lot of time by myself, like just waiting for time to pass. I was like, oh my gosh. And then, you have that whole thing of, when am I going to be 15? When am I going to be 17? When am I going to graduate high school? You have that whole thing of, you were waiting for that next age because that next age seems so much better. And then as I got into my 20s, I was living my best life. Making lots of mistakes, but feeling like hot and sexy and like feeling like I was just on top of my game. And just kind of enjoying that time period, but also wondering, because I was very much raised that as a woman, you graduate from high school, you go to college. You go to college, you meet a man, and you get married. You get married and you have kids. So I thought that was the only option for me. Like that was just what I was raised to believe. So that was what I was thought about in college is when am I going to meet the man? When am I going to have kids? What are my kids going to look like? What are they going to be like? So it was always waiting for that next step is my point. And then all of that happened and it was like, okay, cool. Like this is what's happening, right? And then as I started getting into like my mid 30s, it's like, wait a minute, slow down. Having kids, I feel like really made me feel like aging was going too fast. The kids were getting big too fast, that I was getting older too fast. And then I feel like as I'm getting even older, it's like, slow down. I try to savor every single day and I just want it to stop. Like I want it to slow down so that I can enjoy this time period. It seems to be going too fast. And I feel like, as you get older, that gets more and more. And I feel like that's perpetuated by the stereotype that's in our society of past a certain age that women are beyond their prime, that, you're not seen as respected as much as younger people, and people are disrespected. I see it all the time. I've seen it, even recently there was somebody that I follow on Twitter, and she's probably in her 20s, and she was right in the argument. She was going against this man who was older, but she was using as part of her argument that he was old. And it's like, really? Or this is where we're at. We're really going to do this, where we're going to use being old as an insult. And she was making fun of his looks. You're an old man, go touch grass or something like that. Like, it's like, really? Like, it's really frustrating to me to see people continuing that. But the thing is like, I know I wasn't perfect at that age. And I know that I felt a sense of superiority being that age. Did you feel a sense of superiority? Not superiority. Superiority is probably not the right word. But in your 20s, feeling like you were on top of the world and that you were in the prime of your life and that you knew more than older people and that you were, you know what I mean? I feel like that's something that is, kind of built into our society, when in reality, when you get there, you realize how much you didn't know back then and how much more superior you are now to the person that you used to be, as far as your knowledge, as far as your understanding of the world, your ability to converse, your ability to be empathetic, your ability to talk to other people in a functional way that is respectful. I feel like I have really grown emotionally while I've aged physically, but I still feel this pressure to continue to look young. Like, for example, in my thumbnails for YouTube, I always smooth this out right here. Why do I do that? Because I know there's a societal expectation for me to not have these. People tell me, I remember one, it really bothered me. That's why I saw it. Somebody said, why don't you get Botox? It looks like I could run a train across your forehead, which in hindsight is quite funny and also quite true, but it's rude. It's so rude, especially when it's like, I've made it this far, man. I've earned every one of these. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what is even happening? So it's the societal pressure. I have notes down here that I'm kind of looking at. And it's reinforced by societal beauty standards. And in our beauty space, I feel like it's even worse. So let me go ahead and I'm going to look at some of the comments, the way that people are talking and what they're saying to add to the conversation. Let's see. Mary says, this is why we need to bring all my children back. No disrespect to Erica Kane. I didn't realize soap operas were still on. My mom was watching General Hospital when I was over there last week. And I was like, how is this still on? How is Laura still on General Hospital? Like, what? It's a thing. I don't know. Banana Noodle says the end comes to us all. It's true, but hopefully we've lived a life that we can be proud of, that we're excited about, then we we can look back and be like, you know what? I did some things and I had some experiences and it was a pretty good life, hopefully. Jamie, time flying by so fast is depressing. Yes, I know, right? And then we have on top of that, the age shaming. The misogyny, the age shaming, the ageism coming from younger people that makes you, it's like, all right, I'm already getting like closer to death. Can you like not rub it in? You know what I mean? It's like, really, like, y'all are jerks, man. When I really feel like we should, as a society, look at people that are older and just be like, because there are a lot of cultures that look at the people that are older with more respect because they realize that those people have more knowledge. But I don't feel like American culture, a lot of cultures around the world are like that, See, Ethan says also men age differently. It's annoying. I don't think they do. I honestly don't think that they do. I think that men age the same. I think that our society just physically, like here, like visually age. I think society is just more accepting of men aging. I mean, body wise, we don't want to get into premenopause because that is an adventure. That is an adventure that I am currently experiencing and learning a lot about those kinds of things. And men don't have to deal with that, or people that are born without uteruses and don't have a menstrual cycle, or people that just don't have a menstrual cycle don't have to deal with that. I don't think. I don't know. I'm not very educated in how all of that works. But anyway, my point is that's what I'm going through. I don't want to get into too deep in the weeds and all of that. Tracy says, why do men look better as they age, but women just get old? Because of society. It's a facade. It's not real. It's a facade. They look just as old as we do. They do. We just accept them more. And I think we respect older men more than we respect older women. I do. I genuinely do. Maria says, I just turned 60 in February and I see this at my job for some of my coworkers. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Mary said, I never ever felt that at any age. I'm not sure which specific piece, but that's interesting. Banana noodle youth is wasted on the young, right? Well, but the thing is do we have to have that perspective of youth is wasted on the young? Or can we say that as we get older, we are in a better place. We are in a more educated space. We are in uh, a lot of us, some of us are in a more financially stable place. Not everybody, obviously, but some people are in a more financially stable place. Is it better? You know? So as far as the beauty industry, I want to touch on this. So the beauty industry um, has forever perpetuated this myth that aging is a problem to be solved. And I have bought into it 100%. I have bought into this. I admit it. I will be honest with you. I have bought into this. And it's something I feel like we have to work together to fight against. Like there's one thing about their skin health and making sure to take care of your skin, making sure it's not so dry that you're in pain or so oily that you're feeling uncomfortable, things like that. But as far as like anti-aging, I'm still in it, and I have a feeling I'm not going to stop using. I'm not going to stop using my retinol. I'm not going to stop using, my Nira and my other. I'm trying a new device now that I'm seeing if it's worth recommending to you. I'm not going to stop because I live in this world and this world is not going to change around me. I would still like to look as young as possible for as long as possible, but I recognize that it's because of society and this perpetuating of this beauty myth. And I feel like we've come a long way with brands like Laura Geller, who are, they're putting more older models in their advertising. There's other brands too, and really showing that we aren't dead yet. That we have a right to be in the forefront of marketing, because there are people that look like us and we need stuff too, and people that are older than me, obviously. But it's like, we're constantly bombarded in the beauty space by images of people who are young and beautiful. And, if you want to look young and beautiful, then you need to use our product. And it is annoying. And I feel like the Snapchat filters, just go back for a second, do not help with that at all. Do not help with that at all. Carrie says, I think I must be a shallow, vain person because I feel like I look so freaking old now and I hate it. I find it embarrassing and it makes me not want to like see people almost. See, this makes me so sad because I know you're not alone. I know you're not alone. There are so many people that feel that way. And it's because of our society. And I don't know how to fix that, because by the time that people in their 20s realize this, just like we did, no matter what generation you're in, when you were 20s, you probably felt like this too. By the time they realize it, they're going to be in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And then there's going to be younger people. Gen Alpha is going to be in their 20s, and it's like, how do we educate people and change this when people keep dying and being born and going through the same cycle over and over and over again? And I feel like the only way to do that is to have conversations like the one we're having and make them very public for people of all generations to view, and maybe help people that are younger to have a different perspective earlier. But if we don't as an older, like in 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s year old people, if we don't start embedding that in society while we're still here, and if that doesn't continue through people getting older, then it's just going to keep going forever. It really is. And there are just so many dang people on this earth, to get through to. It's really hard to change something that is so incredibly embedded. And things like Carrie is saying is just not right. It's wrong. It's terrible. It's not fair. We're naturally getting older. And that's a good thing, because the alternative is not getting older, which is not good at all. So, I mean, it's so sad. Yes, Origin, this is what I'm saying. Being able to grow older is a gift. We should be able to celebrate it. High score. Exactly. Let's all get the high score. Absolutely. Absolutely. Teresa says, I'm 50 and I'm a cancer survivor and have had other health issues. I am thankful to be alive. Yes. I think that the more adversity you go through in that way, the more you're able to appreciate it too. When you've thought that this is going to be the end of the line and then it wasn't, you can appreciate things more, I think. Hi, Joe. Joe says if we were valued for the content of our character, not how we look, we wouldn't feel so scared to look older. Society does value appearance above who we are on the inside. And I think that it's one of those things like we talk about all the time was our shortcutting. We're always trying to shortcut our brains and our analyzing of things. And it's very easy to look at somebody, judge them, and move on. Where getting to know someone's character and what the knowledge they've gained and all of that takes a lot more time. And because we don't live in, not everybody, but a lot of people don't live in small communities anymore where people all know each other, it's harder to make that connection and understand the value of a human being beyond what we see on the surface without getting to know them. So I think that's part of the problem, Joe, where society values appearance over who we are on the inside because people don't take the time to get to know people on the inside and realize their value beyond the way that they look. Yes, this is the other point. Tamara says skincare is self-care, and I definitely think it can be for a lot of people. Some people do see it as a chore, as something that they don't enjoy doing, but some people see it as a self-care time. So I guess that just depends on the individual person. But I personally, if I did not if I didn't love my lotions and potions, I probably wouldn't do a skincare routine because I am lazy as hell when it comes to that stuff, especially in the night when I'm tired. When I wake up in the morning and I'm tired, it's like I don't want to mess with that. I didn't do my Nira this morning. It was not good. You need to keep doing that device in order to see effects. I am sponsored by Nira, but this video is not sponsored. So I have to keep using it, but I didn't use it this morning. Because if you lay off of it, the effects go away. So it's like my point is skincare is self-care. Yeah, but sometimes mentally I just don't want to do it. And I don't know how you feel about it as far as like, are you a skincare, self-care kind of person, or are you I do it because I know that it is the right thing to do. Catherine says, I definitely have a pared down version of my skincare routine for when I'm just not feeling it. Yeah, and I have a souped up version of mine too when I am feeling it, but I mostly do the pared down one. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes to see like what's next. Okay. Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to this is the pressure on young people to lead unhealthy lives in order to meet those societal standards. So I don't want to go too deep in this because I don't want to trigger anybody, but I do feel like there's just so much pressure on even young people to look a certain way. So, extreme dieting kinds of situations or plastic surgery, fillers, Botox. I mean, I remember seeing when I first started YouTube, some of these young people in their 20s for the first time getting Botox and fillers and things like that. And I was like, I thought that was just for people that were older, but young people are increasingly doing all of these things. And, some of them fade, some of them go away and they won't have any, most likely won't have any long effects. But some of them are things that are like more intense and things that will alter the shape of their face for the rest of their lives. And like if you're getting a facelift at 30, you have to keep that up at 40 and 50 and like how is your face going to look at 60 and 70 and 80 if you're getting facelifts every 10 years? So I feel like that's another thing on the flip side as far as young people, feeling that pressure to look young forever, and maybe making choices that are, trying to meet society standards, but doing things against their general well-being. And I think that's another problem with our society and just beauty in general and aging. And I feel like our society does reinforce that through beauty standards, through makeup advertising, through skincare advertising. Oh, thank you, Gigi. Gigi says, "What a great What's Up in Makeup just finished." Nice. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Sandra says, "Yes, ageism is a other, but for me, when I got to 60 in a family that lives to 100 for generations, didn't feel like my own, but feeling like it's hold on. Sorry, Sandra, I'm having trouble understanding this one. I'm sorry, Sandra, I don't understand it. I thought I understood it when I first started reading it, but I don't understand. I'm sorry. But ageism is another way to put people in other category, and I feel like our society over and over is trying to find an other, somebody that is different to dislike. So if you are one way, you feel a sense. It makes you feel good about yourself to look at another person who is a different way and maybe not as widely accepted in society, and say, haha, I'm better than you because it makes me feel good to put this group down. And I do feel like ageism is one of those things. Catherine says, I was watching a dietitian and she said that celebrities feel pressure to look the same as they did when they first got famous. For a lot of them, it was when they were teenagers. That stuck with me. Yeah. Oh, totally. Absolutely. Because people expect, like Courtney Cox, for example, to look the way she looked on Friends forever, but that's not possible. It's not humanly possible. And it's funny because, that was one of the things that triggered my thought of, I'm getting older when I saw the celebrities that that I looked up to when I was younger looking older. And I was like, wow, they look so old. That means I'm getting old. And I saw that as a bad thing. And that's a problem in society. That's a problem within myself that I need to correct. I need to course correct and say, no, that's not a bad thing. It's just not. It's not a bad thing that celebrities are getting older. We can't expect them to still look like, the cast of Full House. Well, maybe that's not the best example, but I'm saying, like, people that were like children or teenagers, we can't expect them to look like that forever. And I do feel like we do give more grace to the men than the women, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that's very true, Catherine. Oh yeah, Mary, the whole thing with Madonna, that really bothers me as far as Madonna has always been seen as a beautiful, beautiful woman. And I feel like society's pressure on her to look young forever. I wish that she had, like, I mean, I can't say that because it's not my face. She can do whatever she wants with her face. She can do whatever she wants, but it makes me sad how people are so tough on her when she's just trying to do what she feels is best for herself. And I'm not trying to, through this, I'm not trying to shame anybody that's gotten any kind of surgery or anything like that. Like, I totally get it. I just wish society was different so people got any kind of surgery or, Botox or anything because they liked it rather than the societal expectation. I think that's what it comes down to, is doing things for you and not because of society. And I even fall, like I keep saying, I keep falling into the same trap of, wanting to meet those societal expectations of looking young forever. Like I was saying, I always Photoshop these wrinkles out. I did not for the thumbnail today, though. I did not for the thumbnail for chat today. I did for What's Been Makeup, but not for chat. But yeah, it's just really, really sad. Let the woman be. She's got a banging body. Jenny says, I'm too afraid to get anything done because I look at some celebrities with all the money and can afford the best doctors, yet they look crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point too, is it's like, I think that it's because people get addicted to it. People, they see, once they get some stuff done, they get compliments and they see an improvement and they feel like they've got all this stuff and they're like, yay, 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 yay. And then they see one little wrinkle and they're like, there's a little wrinkle. I need to take care of that too. And here's a little place where my skin isn't so taut. I need to take care of that too. And my eyelids are becoming more hooded. I need to take care of that too. And that's where we end up in those situations. And it's true. Like if you're a celebrity and you have, millions and millions and millions of dollars in the bank, and then you end up getting these surgeries that end up making you not look as natural, it's kind of scary for people that, maybe may not be able to afford such expensive treatment to get into something like that. And I think when it comes down to it, it's understanding the limits of science and the limits of what we can do to stop our faces from aging. Because, you know, how far are we going to go? Because you really can't stop the aging process, even through cosmetic surgery. You still can't stop it. You can't. It's not possible. You can just do things to mask it, but you can't stop it. So I think instead of, you know, doing all of that, what I'm personally trying to do is I'm personally trying to embrace aging as I'm aging. I'm still middle-aged. I'm not old, you know. I'm trying to embrace getting a little bit older so that as I get even older, I can feel good in my own skin and say, you know what, these are, you know, I'm happy to be here, you know, and the way that my face looks isn't as important as the way that my heart is, and the way that I impact the people around me, and the way that I try to help people, and the way that I try to be a good person, you know, from, you know, at the grocery store to my family to, you know, people, you know, spreading love in live chat. You know, I feel like that's really more important, but it's hard to really embrace that. Like, it sounds good to say it, but it's hard to really embrace that. So I just realized we're at the 30-minute mark, I believe. So I don't have a time clock on here this week for some reason. My time clock is not here. Oh, it's because my window is too small, I think. Nope, it's still not there. Okay, but we are about 30 minutes in, so let's take a quick break and let us talk about what's on my face today. So everything I'm going to show you today is from PR. I use this again. This is brand new from Too Faced, the Italian Spritz palette. We touched on this a little bit today in What's Up in Makeup and PR Purchase Product of the Week, but I wanted to tell you a little bit more about it. The scent, if you did not see that, the scent is very grapefruit. It smells like a grapefruit, like spritzer kind of drink, like grapefruit with a little bit of orange, a little bit of lemon, but definitely the dominant is grapefruit, which is very interesting to have eyeshadow smell like that. The formula is kind of hit and miss for me so far. The biggest miss so far has been this blue shade here, where I just could not, like, when in What's Up in Makeup, you might even be able to see, I could not get it to go up here on my lid and stay there, because my lids are a little hooded, and when my eyes fold, the it kept transferring. The blue kept transferring over and over until it just disappeared, and all I had was kind of a half moon shape down here. So that's a problem with this specific blue shade. The mattes seem to be much better. I'm really enjoying those. Today I used Spaghetti About It, which is very cute, and also Mamma Mia down here. And then on my lid, I use Spritz and Glitz, and then also Sin Sin here. That's what's on my lids today, and I'm enjoying it. I'm going to keep playing with it. I don't know if it is a must-have yet. I feel like if you're into the mattes, then absolutely, but I'm still testing the shimmers to see if it's worth it. Shimmers and foiled shades. I do want to mention, I used today, this was just sent to me by Hindash. This is his new Canvas eye primer. And because of these here, I was expecting to be very pigmented and thick. It was not. It was actually a really nice, thinner eye primer that did mute out discoloration. Really enjoyed using this today. I can't speak to it other than application because this is the first time I've used it, but really very much enjoying this so far as an eye primer. And that inspired me to use some of the other products that he sent to me. This is the contour that I used in Carve. I mostly used it as a bronzer rather than a contour, and I really enjoy this, but the blushes are very difficult for me to work with. This one is in the shade Hardest, and it goes on so pigmented, so fast, and very difficult to blend. So I actually had to go over my cheeks with my foundation brush to calm it down because I couldn't get it to blend out. Maybe I let it sit on the skin too long, but yeah, it was really difficult to blend out. So just be aware of that with this. I didn't have the same problem with this one. So that is, oh yeah, on my lips today, I use this, which is gorgeous. I love this on my lips. It is very matte. It is transfer proof, but it is slightly dry because of that. It's not uncomfortable dry. I don't feel like it moves with my lips, but my lips definitely don't feel hydrated in any way. But that's kind of what you get with a formula like this that's matte. It's transfer proof. It's not really going to be hydrating. Like, it's not really possible in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, if you have one, fantastic, let me know what it is, but yeah, that's kind of been my experience with formulas like this. All right. Oh, I found my countdown clock. For some reason, I thought it was gonna be on this side of my screen. It's over here. All right, so let's keep talking. Well, we can keep talking about this, or we can change the subject if you want to. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, I just wrote about, women specifically being overlooked, undervalued, and dismissed because of our youth obsessed culture. I've been watching. Uh, I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but when I do, I cannot stop. I've watched Love Is Blind, which is straight up trash TV, but I've watched that show, which led me into watching The Perfect Match. I am not done. Please don't spoil it for me. I'm on like episode 8. And all of the people on that show are young and their bodies are very thin or muscular or whatever. Like, it is very much the stereotypical standard of beauty for every single person on there. Love Is Blind is a little bit more flexible, but Perfect Match is legit the stereotype. And I feel like it does reinforce it, but I think that's what society wants. And I don't think society would take as well to, seeing someone of a larger size or someone that was significantly older on that show. I think that the show is going to do better because they really nail down that stereotypical image of beauty, which is, really sad. It's really disappointing. But maybe one day we will get there. I do feel like Love Is Blind is getting there a little bit as far as people of different sizes, but it would be interesting to see a show like this for older adults, for adults that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s. I would watch that. But the thing is, would anybody not of that age watch it? Would younger people watch it? I'd be very curious to see that. Or do you feel like that our society is so entrenched in this youth culture that people wouldn't watch a show that was based in people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But as far as trash TV goes, it is stellar trash TV in my opinion. But it's hard though, because I feel like with our society that those shows, it's very sexualized. It's all about relationships, and a lot of it is about sexual relationships. And people don't want to think about people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s having sex. And I think that's really sad because it doesn't that should not stop. If that's something that you enjoy doing, you should be allowed to do that. All the way up until you're not on this earth anymore. I feel like it's not. It's again, it's a societal thing. It's a societal thing. So I think it's kind of messed up. Hold on, why am I still on the same? Did I write the same points multiple times? I think I did. Yeah, I wrote down the pressure to look young and beautiful is not just a matter of personal choice or preference, but rather a result of systemic sexism, misogyny, and ageism that pervade our society. So yeah. Yeah, you know what? I am watching some of Mickey Atkins. They are doing reaction videos. I'm still watching the show, so I haven't watched all of Mickey's reactions, but they're really good. If you like that show and you want to hear a therapist react to that show, definitely recommend watching Mickey Atkins. I'm addicted. I love their channel so much. Mel says, I'm over all of it. And being newly single, I feel like I'd rather be happy with myself than work so hard to find a new mate. Yeah. And the other thing is, too, is why do we have to find a mate? Like, why? Why is that necessary? We don't have to do that. We don't have to. That's because that was drilled into me as a child. Like I was saying earlier, is that was what society expected was you graduate high school, you go to college, which isn't always necessary. You find a mate, which isn't always necessary. You have children, which isn't always necessary. Like, I think we're just waking up to the fact that everybody's journey is different and everyone's desires are different. And you don't have to have a mate to be happy. I can buy myself flowers, right? Hi, Katie. Katie says it's a good question. I'm scared people won't want to come see me perform on stage because I'm older. Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad that it's like that. And I see that in the beauty space too. If you look at the age of the people that are popular, they're all in their 20s. And it's harder as we get older to continue to capture that audience. Um, it really is. It really is because people look at you, they judge you, and that's probably one of the reasons why I Photoshop out my wrinkles is to, have people give me more of a chance. That maybe they'll be able to relate to me more. Maybe that's it too. Is that younger people don't feel like they can relate to older people. I don't know. I've always related to older people older than me. Always since the beginning of time, I've gotten along with people that are younger than me and people that are older than me. I very rarely in life have had friend groups that are my age. My current best friend is like 15, 20 years older than me. I think she's 20 years older than me. So I don't know. I don't personally get that, but I see that all around society, exactly what you're saying, where people don't feel like they can relate to people that are older. I don't know. I just really, maybe it's an immaturity. Do you think it's an immaturity? Maybe. I don't know. I think I've pretty much covered all of the things. Oh, we talked about how we need to break out of it. I mean, I wrote down we need to recognize that aging is natural, beautiful part of life. That people overall, all people should be valued for who they are and not the way that they look. If we did that, I think we would be further along as a society. um, that the media needs to continue, and we need to continue having these conversations about aging, to go against these ageist stereotypes that have built into our society, and celebrating women who have, and men too, not just women, but people who are older who have done things that are amazing, and it's due to age and experience, and celebrating that and making sure that's in the forefront, that it's not just about being young. Like, that's not the only thing, because even these young people that are even these young people, they're going to one day look in the mirror and realize, I can't stop the aging process either, just like I did. It's going to happen to everybody eventually. So it's just, recognizing that. And if you are of that younger age bracket, I actually have quite a few people that watch my channel that are between 25 and 35. I think that the younger you embrace that it's okay to get older, the better you'll handle it in the future. And because I didn't embrace it when I was in my 20s and early 30s, I feel like I had a harder time with it. So, that's kind of my wish to people in their 20s and 30s watching, is just to be like, it's just find that peace in yourself that it's okay to get older. That one day you're going to see a movie, you're going to hear a movie like, for example, I tweeted this out. I found this, Back to the Future Part 2. Back to the Future was a huge part of my childhood. So if you've never seen it, the premise is that the main character is a teenager, and he goes back in time, to when his parents were young. So he is in 1985, and he goes back to 1955. So if that movie were to be made today, we would be going back to 1993. Let that sink in for a second. But I feel like if I had embraced aging younger, I think that wouldn't hurt so bad. It's like 1993, me personally, I mean, think about where you were in 1993 if you are older. I was in late middle school, early high school. I was either in 8th or ninth grade. I can't remember. I graduated high school in 96, so somewhere in there. But yeah. So, all right. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about on that. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Those are my notes. I do want to click this before I scroll away, because I don't want to miss it, because I figured we'd talk about this for the last like 17 minutes, because I think this is a very interesting topic. That was our top news story in What's Up in Makeup. Elsa says, can we talk about how horrible Zoya is for suing Lights Lacquer just for using women's names? How are you going to come for a small woman-owned business for using a woman's name? It's so messed up. I want to talk about that next, but I want to make sure I finish this up and make sure the community has a chance to finish this topic up, but I want to talk about that next. Yeah, Donnelly. See, this makes me so sad. Donnelly says, I'm 29 and I feel like I missed the mark for continuing my channel. Like I'm not motivated anymore. And if emotionally, if in your soul, it's just not in there, then that's one thing. But I hope it's not because of your age. I hope that you're not doing it specifically because of your age, getting a little bit older, because I feel like there is a path to doing social media as a career for anybody of any age. It's just finding what makes you stand apart, where people will come to you for that thing because only you can provide that thing. And I think that can happen at any age. But if you're just internally not motivated, I totally get it. But hopefully it doesn't have to do with age. But I'm rooting for you, Donnelly. If you decide to do it, definitely let me know, and that you've decided, so that I can watch your content and check it out. Yissel says it's the shared income advantage more than anything else. I think less women would date if housing was more affordable and they were paid the same as men. See, that's a point. That's a point. But who says that heterosexual women can't get married and get the tax benefits? Why can't two best friends, or even heterosexual men, why can't they just get married and live the life? Have kids as best friends. Why not? If they want to. Who says? One of my best friends from high school, this is an empowering story. One of my best friends from high school, her name is Emily. And we grew up from second grade all the way through high school. We were closer at different points than others, but Emily was one of those always trying to date, and just got into her 30s. And, I think it was when we were about 40. She's like, I guess I'm not going to find a person, so I'm just going to have a kid. So she did. She has a kid now, and he's adorable and amazing. And she's a single mom living her best life. There's so many things, I think, that we can do to go around what the traditional life could be. But I think I went off topic for a second. So I think that you make a really good point as far as economically. It is a benefit to have a shared income, because I would not have this job. I would not be doing this. I would probably not be sitting here with you right now if John hadn't given me the cushion to quit teaching. Because the only way I was able to quit teaching at the time when I quit was because he covered me. Because I was only making maybe $6,000 a year, $8,000 a year on YouTube when I quit teaching. And then not having insurance, I had to deal with that, because you get cushy insurance as a public school teacher. So yeah, I wonder how many people do exactly what you're saying. I wonder. All right, so let's talk about Kathleen Lights for a bit, because I am like, I think that everybody should follow the law. Let me preface this. I think everybody should follow the law. I think the law is there for a reason, but at the same time, some laws are stupid. And I feel like, it's hard to make a law without so many exceptions, so that so everything is fair, because situations have to pop up. And if you did not know, so Kathleen Lights was in a lawsuit with Zoya, which is a huge nail polish brand. They've been around forever. Back when I started my channel, I had a bunch of Zoya nail polishes, loved them, except for the ones that were sheer. I didn't quite get those, didn't really like the way those looked, though at least the shades that I chose, I didn't really like those. But overall, really nice nail polish brand. I found it to be very expensive back then. I was like, it's really expensive, because I would much rather buy a $6 nail polish than a $9 one. But anyway, I digress. So Zoya has been around forever, and they've been naming their nail polishes women's names forever, traditionally women's names forever. And Kathleen has been naming some of her nail polish names women's names, because she has a friend or a grandma or a mom or, some person that means something to her. And she names a polish after them, because that's a nice thing to do. That's so cool, to say thank you to your mom by naming a polish after her. And Zoya was like, no, we do that. You can't do that, which they're right. And it's really freaking sad, because I feel like with trademark, like if she wanted to name her company Zoya, yeah, no, that's not okay. But people's names, Like, really? And the fact that they went out of their way to sue her, like Lights Lacquer is not a huge business. Zoya is freaking huge. I feel like it is very much the big guy picking on, a smaller brand for literally no reason. Because really and truly, what it comes down to is Zoya's claiming brand confusion. That Mia from from Lights Lacquer may be confused with Mia from Zoya, and that is BS. That is straight up BS. No one is buying Lights Lacquer thinking it's Zoya because they saw the name Mia. It's not happening. They're just being jerks. Yes, they have a legal right. They absolutely have a legal right. They own the trademark for the name Mia on a nail polish. They have the legal right. They should have won, but it's messed up. That's my opinion on that. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. I think it's so wrong. Because now Kathleen's changed all of her names on her polishes. I don't know if she had to pay out anything. I did DM her on Instagram and we did some voice memos back and forth through Instagram and chatted a little bit yesterday. And I was like, here's my script. This is what I'm going to say. Is there anything that I got wrong? Is there anything that you want me to add? Do you want to put in a statement? And she was like, absolutely not. She's like, I am not putting in a statement. She's like, everything that you put there is what can be found publicly. That's the public information. That's all we can talk about is what is out there publicly through the court system. She's like, I absolutely am not going to say anything else. And I was like, I get it. I just wanted to make sure, but she was really appreciative that I reached out to her, gave her the heads up and told her what I was going to say so she could be aware. I mean, it's so frustrating and upsetting. So yeah, Carrie says, what the hell? People's names shouldn't be trademark. I hate petty companies and petty people. Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things where I feel like, it's possible that Kathleen isn't, this is just my speculation. I don't know this, but it's possible that Kathleen isn't allowed to talk about it because she has some kind of gag order through the court that she's not allowed to talk about it, right? Why wouldn't they want her to talk about it? Well, because in my opinion, it makes Zoya look really bad. If they can just sue her and keep it under the radar, then they get what they want without any negativity toward them. But if she starts talking about it to her audience and how she feels like it's unfair, it's going to be bad for Zoya. So she's not allowed to say anything, but I am. I'm allowed to say something. And I looked at the legal papers and I think it's messed up. And I think, it's irritating to me. And I'm not wearing nail polish right now. I haven't bought a nail polish in a very long time, but I think Zoya's off the list, at least for now, because I think that's messed up. So, but anyway. Oh, Heidi says, I can't believe drama channels I follow haven't commented on this. I love Kathleen. I know she loves Peter Mon like me. She does love Peter Mon. I think that it's brand new. It's just coming out. I don't think that any of us knew about it. Any YouTube channels knew about it until it started coming out when Kathleen said that she was going to change the names. So she posted it in her Facebook group. Hey, just so you know, I did have to change some of the names. Here are the old names. Here are the new names. And then people were like, what? Why are we doing this? And they dug a little deeper and found it on their own. But if nobody talks about it, then like a court case that's happening, it's hard to know what to search for, to find court cases. It's hard to know what to search for because you could literally search for any brand and you just spend your, entire life searching for brands and court cases and never find anything. So we just didn't know until recently, until she had to change the names. And I think that's why nobody's talked about it. But here on What's Up in Makeup, that I will be listening and I am looking and I have my crew over in my Facebook group. It's What's Up in Makeup Facebook Hunters Official. That is where I hear about a lot of these things. And when you have eyes out there everywhere that are helping you, that really helps. And I wouldn't have known about this if it wasn't for Jackie in my Facebook group who posted it. So yeah, I mean, that's why I think nobody's talked about it yet, but I have a feeling it'll be the next topic. But, What's Up in Makeup, you got to come here because we're going to get all the good stuff. You won't miss anything coming here. So, but I would imagine other people are going to cover it too. Yeah, Lupe says, "Watch out, Zoya, people love Kathleen." Yeah, and people still have issues with Kathleen, and I totally understand that. I mean, she's made mistakes in her past that were awful, horrible mistakes, and I have no right to say, about forgiving anybody for anything, and everybody has to decide for themselves how they feel about the mistakes Kathleen's made in the past, but there are people that do love her. That's a fact. There are people that love her. Yeah, Yisel says, so as I understand it, you can trademark a name if it's not what the product actually is. You can't trademark the name Banana Co. if you sell bananas. If it's makeup, then okay. Interesting. I'll have to look more into that because that makes perfect sense. That makes sense. Oh, you know what? I heard about this, Elsa. Elsa says it's also not the first time Zoya has done this. They went after Julep back in the day. And I think this is why Olive and June uses initials instead of names. It's so cruddy, man. It's so cruddy. It's like, stop. Ugh. Nobody's gonna, because there's no brand confusion. That's the thing, is there's no brand confusion. There is no, like, there's, because that's the whole point. When you fight a trademark issue, that's why they have all these trademark rules, is that you don't want two nail polish companies called Zoya. You don't want two nail polish companies called Lights Lacquer. You don't want Born This Way Foundation. Well, that was an issue actually. Born This Way Foundation is associated with Too Faced. So if Elf came out with a Born This Way Foundation, that would be confusing. Like that I get 100%. But Mia, really, Zoya is, from my understanding, I'm not in the nail polish space, but is Zoya known for the shade Mia or any of the shades that Kathleen had to change? I don't think so. I feel like they need to prove that there's brand confusion, like somehow, or prove that this name is notable in their brand in order to have this go through. I think it's cruddy, man. I forgot about I did read that earlier in the week. Well, yesterday I read, I can't say earlier in the week. Yesterday I read about the julep thing. I had forgotten about that. Ah, interesting. Mary says, I have over 1,000 nail polishes. Do you know how many I have that are called Purple Rain? I'm surprised that the Prince Estate has not gone after them, because the Prince Estate is, from what I've heard, is pretty brutal when it comes to that stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, and the thing is it has to be within the industry too. I think that that's part of the thing, is that because they're both nail polish brands, I think that's why it makes a difference. Like if I started a clothing line named Zoya, then it wouldn't be competing, and that happens all the time. And that's where like Cozy, when we were talking about the Jacqueline and Kaylin situation, they both sell clothing, and that's where the overlap is. Even though Jacqueline is primarily like sleep clothing and Kaylin was more like merchy kind of stuff, it's still clothing. It's still the same thing. Where when we talked about Skin Plus and Skin by Kim, Skin Plus is a salon and Skin by Kim is specifically skincare products. And Skin Plus does not sell skincare products with their name on them. If they had, I think that Sydney would have had a case against Kim. But because she didn't have her own line of products and was just a freestanding store dedicated to skincare, it wasn't I don't think it's competing enough. And that's what kind of where it comes down to. So I think with Purple Rain, I think that's probably why the Prince Estate hasn't gone after them for that. Aw, Toll says Jen loves court cases, and we love Jen for telling all the court tea. I enjoy it, man. I've gone through different phases in life as far as loving learning different kinds of vocabulary. Like when I was in college, I was really into Shakespeare. And I know it's so random. I was really into Shakespeare, and I loved just sitting and trying to decode and understand the language of Shakespeare. So I did that. When I was teaching, believe it or not, in teaching, there is a lot of lingo, especially in special education. There's a ton of lingo. Teaching phonics, there's a ton of lingo. There's a lot that I learned there and really had fun learning all of that. Ingredient lingo here on YouTube and learning about different, psychopentasiloxane and stuff like that, and what that means and all the different prefixes and suffixes and how that adds to a a cosmetic ingredient. Like, what does that mean? I've loved that. So now my new thing is court cases and understanding legal lingo and what all the different things mean. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm still learning, but I'm really having fun with it. And I try so hard to be accurate with everything. So I really appreciate that you love being here and that you're enjoying all of the court tea. Oh, okay. So my so-called mom life says I'm off buying Zoya after this. Pink and Bling says Zoya is definitely off my shopping list. That's for sure. I do love Kathleen's polish. So crazy. And I want to make sure that this is very, 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 very clear. If Zoya ever watches this, Kathleen did not tell me anything that was not public. Kathleen said specifically, I can't talk about it. And did not give me any information. All of the information and all of my opinions are based solely on the court documents that are public. That is where I'm basing everything that I'm saying from, not from my conversation with Kathleen. She has not said anything. So I just want to make sure that's very, very clear. So, because last thing I need to be drawn into a freaking court case because people think that they think that Kathleen said something she wasn't supposed to, and she absolutely 100% did not. Even in a private conversation, she did not. Like, she's like, I'm paranoid. I can't say anything. I was like, it's all good. Like, you don't have to tell me anything. I completely understand. Please be paranoid. You need to protect yourself. I totally get it. Excuse me. I totally get it. All right. We are almost out of time, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah, Crystal says you use polish for the color, not the name. It's so weird. And I think the only exception to that is the really fun names. It's not Zoya that does them, but I know Essie does them that are really fun, that are like plays on words. And I'm trying to remember the name of the other nail polish brand. It's such a big brand. My brain is just like not remembering it in the second, but the fun names that are like plays on words. Those are so fun. Those are so fun. I think sometimes I did use polishes because of the name, because the names were so fun, but it was because they were fun. It's not because they were a specific person's name, Like, I think that's super weird. But yeah. All right. I should probably pop off here and let you go. I've kept the moderators 11 minutes later than they normally stay. So, I left this comment on the screen. I got to get rid of that. Thank you all so, so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed chat today. I know it was a little bit different, but I wanted to go a little deeper today. I feel like, we don't always have to talk about the surface frivolous kinds of things. We're mature adults. We can talk, we can have deeper conversations, and it doesn't always have to be like so like la 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 fluffy, not important. Like, I like to talk about stuff like this. And I feel like if we all work together, maybe we can bust some of these myths and stereotypes and start really reinforcing in our society that there is value to older people. There's a lot of value. We have a lot of value in us. And younger people, if you are lucky enough, you will also feel undervalued as well, unless we fix this. So maybe you can join with us. All right, my friend, have a wonderful week. I haven't decided what I'm going to film on Friday yet. I have a few different options. I have a ColourPop lip video that I've been working on. I have my Ulta worst rated products at Ulta video that I've been working on. Also, Ulta 21 Days of Beauty started, so I might do something with that. There's lots of ideas in my head, so I have until Tuesday to figure it out. So have a wonderful week. We'll be back next Sunday. Hopefully you can join us. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Next Sunday's live chat will be a 5 p.m. live chat. I do have market in the morning, so 5 p.m. next week. And hopefully you can come back and join us. And mad love to you. Have a great week. Stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye.